Alright, what is up everyone? It's your boy SB Philos4 here, back at the RePHIL studio. We are going to do one more set and refill to 99. Let's go! We are having quite the honor to have our special guest, HoudiniOwls here, or Who for short. Who, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today in the RePHIL studio.
No problem. I'm glad to be here too.
So, brief intro, Who is a pubcord mod. So pubcord is the sort of the official Bang Dream Discord server, and one of the many mods there. And as well, she is she got top 4 in the Backstage Pass 3 event featuring all the bases. Is there anything else you want to add to that intro, Who?
I'm an owl, I suppose. And I'm not Megami-sama or whatever you call me these days.
But by owl, do you mean that you are like a night owl? You don't you sleep at awkward, ungodly hours?
Probably. That's ambiguous stuff I shouldn't tell people.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, Who again, thank you so much for joining in to the studio. Of course, when it comes to getting people and sort of introducing our guests to our viewers, one of the main things I always ask is how did he get into to Bang Dream? So that's my question to you. How did you get into Bang Dream?
Oh, that well, I first got into Bang Dream like from a friend. They just told me about this game, and I just kind of was interested because at the time I was actually a big fan of Attack on Titan because I just finished like season 1 and everything, and they had Girin no Yumina in the game as a cover. So I took the chance. I actually downloaded the game during a field trip. And yeah, that's kind of where my journey took off. I was just like grinding Gurren like nonstop, but at some point I did also fall off the game for a while, and then I picked it back up during Backstage Pass 1, and then that's where I just kind of settled myself within the Bang Dream community.
Okay.
Basically.
So when you got into the game and Gurren was like, Gurren no Yumiya was like the first kind of impression of you getting into Bang Dream, was Roselia also sort of like a good first impression for you when it comes to getting into the game, or was it another band that you really liked a lot at first?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because like I don't really remember all of this. I actually got into the game when I was like, it's towards like the end of my 8th grade year, I think. So I think I was really like impressed by Rosalia's covers and their originals, because I did play like a lot of Black Shout when I first got into the game. But if there was like a specific band I like, not really, but I did like Remy. Remy was like the one character I did like at the start of the game.
Okay. Is she still one of your favorite characters, or has that changed?
She's still one of my favorite characters, but she's not T1 anymore. She's T2. My favorite is now Lisa.
Yeah. And what made you draw to Lisa as your favorite character?
I think I just like kind of like the vibe a little bit more. Like I think I wanted a character that was probably like, more open, but I do like Remy, how she is like, being brave and like pushing herself as well. So it's kind of nice to like, see that character development. But I do think there was like around Christmas when Lisa also became my T1, but I'm not sure why. It's kind of hard to remember.
You just decided to I guess simp for Lisa, hence your amazing Twitter profile picture.
Yes.
Okay, well that's very cool. That's very cool that you're able to again. I guess it's like you kind of got into it, kind of fell out, and then came back in. So you're not like necessarily you're like an old person, but like in terms of like getting into it relatively early in its lifetime, but you really started to get into it later. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Mhm.
Who of course was Bang Dream your very first rhythm game, or did you had other backgrounds in other rhythm games?
Um, I would say like pretty much Bang Dream was like my first rhythm game,
Hmm.
like mobile. Well, yeah, mobile rhythm game. So I'm
Hmm.
trying to say. Um, I'm not sure if it really counts, but I did play like Just Dance on the Wii, but I don't want to count that. Or well, I did play Guitar Hero for a little bit, but I didn't like really get into it. I probably just
Mhm.
only play like a few games or so. So yeah, pretty much Bang Dream is my first rhythm game.
Okay, well, it's honestly quite interesting that Bang Dream was like definitely one of your first ones, and maybe you didn't have that much of a music background, and yet here we are. We look at you, and you've become so good at the game. You're definitely one of the best players out there in the world. Hence, you're in the QAP club, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I know recently, at the time of this recording, you finally got that all perfect in 6 trillion, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it was like such a big goal for me because like it was the one song that actually like made me want to like get better at the game because
Mhm.
approximately when I re-downloaded the game was like, well, yeah, Backstage Pass, but then like I got into it more like around like um Neo Aspect, like right at the end of Neo Aspect,
Mhm.
into Beating in the Rain, where I
Mhm.
actually like just forced myself to get that my first title as like a T1K. And I think that was the event that also like dropped Roku because I was just like forcing myself to just do all these things.
Well, it's interesting. Again, one of our other guest star also joined around the same time as well. So I guess like there's something about Neo Aspect and around that time where a lot of people started joining, which was pretty interesting. But obviously, again, it's really interesting how although Bang Dream was one of your very like basically your first rhythm game that you got so good, right? Like again, we've been seeing you get all perfect in so many songs, even the most difficult songs, and of course recently 6 trillion as well. So tell us the sauce, who what made you so good? What did you do to get so good at the game?
Probably just sheer willpower and just wanting to like get better. Like, I guess I like try and compare myself a lot to just the better players in the community,
Mm-hmm.
or just like, on the I guess YouTube side of the game, like Mihaya or
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the name right now. Um, but yeah, just a lot of them just like it's kind of inspired me to like just get better, try to get to their level of skill. And I still think like I still have like a long way to go because um it's like you don't like stuff like regarding like QAP and everything. It's like you don't want to just get it once. You want to keep getting it. You want to be consistent at the song and just keep practicing until you just you can just I guess it's just an exaggeration, but AP it blindfolded, basically.
Your devotion for trying to get so good is honestly quite inspiring. I know a lot of players out there, they try to, you know, they sometimes have a lot of doubts about, whether or not they could get better at the game. But I think for a lot of people, it's just a lot of time, right? It's not something that you
Mhm.
could um, do overnight, I think. It's
Yeah,
something that you have to put a lot of time and effort, and I'm sure you put quite a bit of time into this game ever since you got into it, and that's how you got to where you are right now, right?
yeah. It's like anything in life. You can't just expect like a final result from just like, just doing it once or twice. You have to like keep playing it over and over again. Like for my we'll just go back to Roku Shonen.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 2 years from getting my first clear to actually APing the game. 2 years. Like that's not something you can earn in like a day or a week.
Yep. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort to get to where you are right now. So I honestly think it's really interesting that you're sort of I guess your litmus paper, how you first got into the game was trying to play Gurren no Yumiya so often, and Gurren was definitely at the time, it's considered one of the harder songs at the start. So you already kind of started pushing yourself, I think, to try and play to achieve higher. And then of course when you actually got into it, then Roku Chonin or 6 Trillion was your goal right off the start. So that was definitely quite interesting. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about QAP. I mean, we've mentioned it a lot, but what exactly is QAP to the viewers who are not aware about them?
QAP is just basically where we get like 5 players in like a room. And we play like a song, and basically everyone has to AP, and that's and it's basically short for quintuple all perfect. So that's where you get the 5 people and everyone all perfects the song basically. Usually we would want to have like really I would say really good players to get that consistency in, like I said. And because sometimes we do like get tilted or mauled over like just not getting it, if like we like burden, which is always which is like basically you great or miss and you're the only one who did it. So yeah, and it just kind of makes everyone just feel less confident. We don't really like that. But we also don't want to like be like elitist, so we are open to like more players to play with them. And we also often leave like the quote unquote easier songs for like people to like practice on, and because we want to expand our group more. It's not like we're not like a closed group basically.
Do you know, like, were you one of the first few people to kind of like create this kind of group of people who are going to strive for QAP, or how did you kind of get to know these other superillas in the community?
I'm not like the first few who joined. There was like, a whole list of like very old players who were basically in charge of the QAP group. I would say like even Rowlet wasn't the first one to join onto the train. Actually, it was just a bunch of more older players, like Keitan, and Keitan was one of the few people who like was a part of the QAP. I think if I go back and check for the QAP achievements, I think he was also part of the very first QAP that like what Ian ever did. So yeah, but more on me, I would say like it was when I started, I guess, getting better at the game. Like I started APing a lot of the easier songs, like Harumodoki, which is actually my first QAP, and then like Cherry Bomb. Yeah. Okay. We also have 2 QAP servers. There was this old one, which is Light server, and then we have the current one, which is Rowlet server. And I think there was like even an older one, but I'm not sure who it is.
Oh, interesting. So, again, you mentioned that these servers again are not necessarily closed. Again, people, if they want to practice or you feel like you want to take the next step on trying to improve your gameplay, I'm sure that Who would be very willing to invite you all and try things out and see how it goes.
Yeah. We're always open. We always want to like see new players. We don't like see new faces all the time. Put new names on our sheet where we track all of the APs or QAPs.
Good, good. Is there anyone in particular? Like, are there a couple of people in this group that you consider yourself like, close friends, close rivals, like people that you look up to? If you want to name a few of them.
Well, obviously, I have Rowlet, which I always jokingly say he's like my son. Obviously, because he's like an owl as well, basically. Um, I'd say also White Whale because he was one of the first few people I also QAP with, and I still QAP with him now. Aqua. Aqua is I wouldn't say new, but I also wouldn't say like old player in our QAP group. But he's been really there helping us get those QAPs as well. So yeah.
Oh, shout outs to our QAP members again. They might be listening to this right now, so. But yeah, also just one other quick question about that. Like, how does that like generally work? Like when a new song comes out, like for instance, at the time of this recording, the Everlasting Guilty Crown and Namae no Nai Kaibutsu finally are in January. How does that get set up? Like, how does that go? Like in terms of like setting up a group to try and get that QAP.
Sometimes like right at release, we just like just come on, let's just do this. Ping. We have like a QAP role basically, and everyone who wants the QAP has that role. And we basically just like ping. It's like a mini at everyone like who wants to do this song, and we have like I guess this quote unquote dibs list where people can like reserve one song in particular that they like or they would want to do, and in a way people are dibsing to basically QAP this song. Yeah, and we also like set up the time we do it. Usually we do it around like midnight for like where I live, which is like the Pacific time zone, and then over in the Southeast Asian countries where a lot of our other QAP members are like it's like afternoon lunchtime for them. So I think that's like a perfect time for us because sometimes if we do it too early or like too much in the like I guess the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. time zone, it would be like too early for C, if that makes any sense.
No. It makes sense. It makes sense for sure. When you mentioned midnight, I immediately thought, wow, night owl right there. You might like, couldn't you possibly be playing for like maybe hours trying to get that QAP or like?
Yeah. It unfortunately like barely works out for us. So like either my time zone or like the America's time zone just stays up really late, or like the C time zone has to get up really early. So it's just like I think most of the time it just really depends on the time of day where you're good, because like sometimes I like burden so much like at certain hours of the day just because I'm like just not feeling it. We just always have those off days with like a lot of our members. Yeah, like early morning just does not do it for me like 90% of the time. Well, like maybe for someone else it'd be like at like midnight to like past that. It just doesn't work out for them as well. So yeah.
Well, that's something to keep in mind. Everyone has their own schedules, but again, it seems like you guys will try to work the best to try and accommodate everyone and see how things go. So yeah, that's good. Who again? Do you have any future QAP projects? Are you involved with one of the new songs, or maybe there's an upcoming song that you're going to try and QAP with a few of your friends?
I would say two things that we're just doing right now. Well, today actually we're planning to do something, which is get the two new songs, Namewa and Everlasting Guilty Crown. We're actually planning that already. And then we had this project up for like the longest time, but it was regarding just Rosalia like using hand cams and recording our gameplay of Rosalia songs, like two per each girl or band member, basically. But we just haven't like been doing that because like I think all the songs are out now, but it's just that we're just kind of slow now.
No worries. No, it is a pretty big project, so I can imagine that it can be a pretty big project, especially when you have to kind of force people to full combo, right? Like to all perfect, let alone like full combo. That's not easy. That's not easy at all. So yeah, definitely good luck with that. That'll definitely be a pretty interesting project to see, and I would definitely be quite looking forward to seeing it posted probably when it's ready. So.
Oh yeah, like one more thing to add is that honestly the hardest thing is like not only to find people who can like AP songs and everything, but it's also finding people who can have hand cams as well. Because we did have like this previous project, which is our biggest one, because we're just kind of lazy on projects to be honest, or just don't have that many set up.
Yeah.
But if you recall our 25 DAP project, where we basically try to get 25 people to AP, or 5 people per song per 5 songs, basically, and then everyone else has to do a quintuple smile at the end. Our main problem was really finding people who can have the hand cam set up, because there's so many like good players out there, they just don't have the hand cam set up available.
Well, again, this is a project that the group is doing, and if you are a viewer of this podcast and you think that you are gorilla enough to participate, feel free to contact us. Join at least first. Join the UNGA Academy Discord. That's where all of our special guests are located, and you'll be able to speak with them there. Of course, we'll talk a little bit more about Popcord in just a bit, but I think we'll take a really short break just before we resume the podcast. So we will refill in 1 minute, and we will complete the set very soon. The Refill Studio is brought to you by the UNGA Discord server. Feel free to join us. Links are in the description below, and you'll be able to join our community who's passionate about Bang Dream and tiering in the game, and you'll also get the chance to meet with some of our special guests featured in this podcast series. It's a great time, fun place to host events, and we hope to see you there. The Refill Studio will be back very shortly. Alright everyone, welcome back. Refill complete, and we will continue this next set. Again, special guest Who has joined us and talked a lot about her experience of getting into bandury and how she got so good and full comboing and APing, all perfecting all songs in the game. Now, another thing I want to talk about is not only you've played quite a bit in the game in terms of getting good and showing your skills and getting all perfect, but you also dabbed a little bit into tiering, which was quite interesting. So I know Who, again, you got 4th place in the Backstage Pass 3 event, which now looking back at it actually makes quite a bit of sense. It has Lisa, it has Remy, who are 2 of your favorite characters, but what else kind of also motivated you to try and tier for that event, if any?
Most of it was actually just because of Lisa and Remy, and I was like, there's probably not a chance that this 2 will be together again as both the 4-star and the banner for the events. I was just like, why not go for it? And I just I had enough stars to just go for it, so it's like, why not?
Okay. Did you had any prior tiering experience before that, or was that just like a one and done kind of thing?
In terms of like T10 plus, no, not really. I just got I just had like T100s and everything. Like my most prize title, I suppose, was like Noble Rose 1 T100. That was the best title before Backstage Pass 3.
Mhm.
And I still don't have like a song title actually, just because I don't have the team to go for song rankings at all.
Mhm.
But I am planning for a song T1 that's gonna happen in the future pretty soon because of the new change to like how EN is gonna be speeding up all of its events. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that change is definitely going to be quite interesting. To be able to see the events now speeding up, and you're going to have events coming more often, and giving people less time to perhaps tier and of course song tier as well. So that's going to be definitely quite interesting. Who, of course, well, what was obviously your experience at Tyrion was mostly a couple of T100s. Did that T4 was that like a whole different experience in terms of like getting that title and getting such a high title compared to what you've done before?
To be honest, not really, because like I guess tiering. I mean, the event itself wasn't like as I guess you can't compare it to something like Neo Aspect, which was just like,
Mm-hmm.
or well, T100 or T10 Neo Aspect wasn't like woke. I would say maybe more of Railgun T10 was like woke.
Mm-hmm.
You can't like compare it to that. If anything, it was more like Neo Aspect T100 or something. I don't know I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to else to describe it. It wasn't like it was like pretty dead for like a T10. That was all. That's why.
Okay. Okay.
Specifically, it was like
Obviously,
mixed.
again, even if an event is dead, that doesn't necessarily mean you didn't put any effort into it, right? It is. I imagine you still put quite a few hours into trying to get it, and it is not easy. It's not just something that anyone could just walk into and and just nab a T4 in their sleep without preparation. So, again, it's still something that I think you deserve quite well to get that title. So, uh,
Oh, actually, there's a funny thing you said is that when I did the T10, I actually asked Lessica on like the day when like the event started on like day 2 actually. And I just like I just might as well. Hey Les, can I just get a spot for T10? And at the time I think it
oh
was like
boy.
not woke. But over the course of the event, I think it got like even more woke, like because we had Nero Cat join the roster as well. But then like there was like another person sniping from outside the server. We're like, oh shit.
Wow. Yeah. Again, the Tyrion events always have their own kind of unique storylines. This is a pretty unique storyline where the roster was being built as the event was starting. that's that's quite interesting. But yeah, overall, that was a pretty unique experience. Anything else about that you want to mention that was unique that you would like to share about your T4?
Oh, I guess because it's actually like it's pretty memorable for me because it was like just really funny, but I did not have my phone for like the duration of that event. So I had only one device tiering. So like the whole time I'd be in VC on my tablet along with playing the game on my tablet.
Oh.
Um and it just my tablet would overheat like after just the one set. So then you just hear like this ice bag in the background as I'm like tapping. So it's just a lot
Oh
of like
man.
funny moments.
Oh man, that poor tablet. That poor tablet overworked like crazy.
Yeah, I feel so
Well,
bad.
yeah, it survived at least. I think, hopefully.
Yeah, it did. It's good.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a pretty interesting experience. And again, it's good to hear that about your T4, and that was definitely quite interesting. You just kind of very lucky that you were able to get into the roster quite conveniently, and able to withstand those. Unfortunately, we're overworking the tablet, but yeah, that's really good. And again, who hopefully you'll be able to achieve your goal of getting a song top one. So we'll look forward to maybe seeing that in the near future.
Yep.
So one other thing I do want to talk about is, of course, the fact that you are a moderator of the official Bang Dream Discord server, which is we kind of call it as Pubcord for short. Can you tell me how you end up getting that position?
I got this position, just, applying for in the mod app. It was like around like spring of last year. Because COVID was a thing, and I was just at home, even though I had school and everything, I was just like, I could probably do it for like, a little bit, which I did. And at the time, I think like it was Razor, if anyone remembers him. He was basically, I guess, someone I knew from the mod team quite well, and I guess in a way he kind of took me under his wing in modding and like just other things, other like topics, I guess you could say, and just kind of just helped guided me a little bit through modding Pubcord.
Were you in the server before it became the official server, or
yes, I was. I joined the server around the time I also like returned back to Bandory, because like I don't know, just so one day I just like decided because I think that Discord was kind of it was also like a new thing, right? At the time. And I guess I got into, just talking more on like Discord and everything. So I just like, search bar, type in Bang Dream Discord server, and there you go.
Yeah. So you ended up becoming a mod though, like right after it like transitioned from like an unofficial to official, right?
Yeah, that was like a very hectic like span of months that we had to do. Like our previous moderator, Loon, I think they racked up like so many like we have like the system, a strike system basically, where we if someone breaks a rule, we basically give them a strike. We don't insta ban them unless it's like really bad stuff or like the rating or something. But we usually let them do this, so we let people have a chance to, like improve on themselves, like, just don't do it again, you learn from it type of thing. And around that time, it's just Loon just started striking like a lot of people because I guess they were also like new to Discord, and how like I guess like Twitter, Instagram, like just different communities, and Discord it's its own community, so they're getting used to it. Some things shouldn't be posted here, and etc. Without Loon, I think a lot of this server would have died during the official just the start of official court, because like it was actually like a lot of new things we had to like take in mind.
Wow.
Also another thing with it was just that, because I guess there's more quote unquote kids or like a younger age group, I guess, because we were official server. You want to make yourself look good for the game, for the devs and everything. So we had to like be a little bit more restrictive on like certain rules, like not safe for work stuff and stuff. Because I think like another one problem that did arose from it was like a lot of shipping issues. I won't specify,
Oh boy.
but yeah, that was like a pretty rampant thing pre-official course, so we had to like kind of shut that down a little bit because we didn't want just to cause problems for like the whole like the whole thing for Bandori in general.
Yeah, I can imagine how those first couple of months could be so hectic because again, you're trying to change sort of an unofficial Discord with a whole bunch of people, not that many rules, and then suddenly became the official Discord where it's sort of like the face of the franchise, right? It is a little bit a bit more nerve wracking, and I can imagine why there were so many sudden rule changes and definitely being more strict and all the strikes to try and really have people understand that this is a different server now. It is official, and you want to do what you can to make things right and make things good for the community and good for the franchise as well. So again, I do imagine that it was quite hectic and chaotic those first couple of months.
Yep. They sure were.
Now, of course, I don't necessarily think the chaos ends. I was just checking on my computer, and the official Bang Dream Discord is going to reach about 30,000 members very soon. That's crazy. That is honestly crazy. Did you expect this server to grow this big?
I honestly, at some point, I did expect it to grow this big, but like that fast, maybe not.
What do you think might be the challenges ahead when it comes to managing such a big Discord? I know, like for instance, Genshin Impact, their official Discords, they already hit the cap. They have to make a second one. I don't think Bang Dream's going to hit that issue, but obviously managing a big Discord server it's definitely not going to be easy. So what do you think might be the challenges ahead, or what maybe even some things that instead maybe you're looking more positively into, like something you're looking forward to as the server grows?
I think as the server grows, we'll be like, be more diverse, like amount of people in there, but which is like a good thing, but it also kind of like risks like people having a negative attitude towards like, new people because there's like these little groups. We form like little groups where we just know each other, and you have new people, so it's kind of like awkward and everything. Yeah, and then there's like this other Bandori server which is called what happened with the I guess it's the DN server. And it's like it's a whole nother community, and then I think there's also like some part of the main official server, but
Okay.
it's like just two different communities right there.
Again, what if someone is listening to this podcast, maybe is not in PubCord and may want to consider joining, what would you kind of say? Like, what is it that makes the Bang Dream community, in your opinion, so welcoming to new people?
I think overall, like the community is pretty wholesome, to be honest. Like, I mean, I mostly like mod a girls band party and I don't really touch like the lounge or off topic as much, but like it's pretty wholesome in where I mod. Like people like try to help each other out. And once in a while I just see like these very, very wholesome moments where it's just like a lot of people calling each other cute, and I'm like, okay.
Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, again, it is a big community, and some people might be pretty shy on joining it. But again, Bang Dream is a relatively niche interest, I think. So the fact that if you have share same interests or similar interests to Bang Dream, I think right off the bat you are one step closer to making a pretty good, meaningful connection in the community. So, yeah, that's definitely really interesting to hear. Um, Now, of course, we did briefly mention about other communities out there, but just in your opinion, do you see like because again, you mod pubcord, but you also occasionally also mod a bunch of tiering servers as well. Do you see like a difference on how like maybe like the general community sees tiering? Like, do you think there's sort of like a level of like maybe it's a positive outlook, maybe there's some disconnect between the two? What do you think?
I think like in terms of like, outside like the Discord community, I don't think people like really understand like the tiering groups and everything because like
Mm,
tiering server itself isn't like just meant for like just tiering get help these people get to like their desired ranks, but it's like
mm,
just a place to hang out. It's not like very, I guess, what's the word, like inclusive, is that the word? um
mm,
but it's we if you just interact with the community and like ask around, people will help you. You'll even like get into the tiering server. People will help you get to your like, I guess, your first T100 or so. And overall, like people in the tiering server are quite welcoming to new players, as long as they follow rules and aren't like harassing other players or anything.
yeah, yeah, for sure. You make a really good point, Who, because again, I think in general there is a little bit of a disconnect in terms of like how maybe like people outside of tiering community see tiering servers, and to be honest, I also find that there at times even people hosting a tiering server may not have the perfect picture of what a tiering server should be. And I think you nailed it home quite well there, that it is, you want to make sure that the tiering server is efficient, and you want to be able to ultimately help each other get your goals, and especially the ones who are going for top one, top two, top three, and the top 10. But I think it's also important to be able to balance um, the entertainment part, to be able to show that
Mm-hmm.
you're a community, you care for each other, you want to also make it a fun, enjoyable experience. Because I think without giving that experience, without being able to give it a meaningful, fun experience, it's really difficult for your members in the server to consider, supporting, or having motivation to support the higher ranks, if they're if not really have don't really have an incentive as to why they're doing it. So it is a really fine balance, I think, of trying to make a tiering server efficient and gets the job done, but also fun and exciting for players. And who, I know you're also one of the many mods who are modding the ASC server. So the ASC server was the server for the to spread our wings Morphonica event, and I think a lot of people, they mentioned in that server that they had a lot of fun because there were daily activities to enjoy with members, and the roster was very personable, the mods were really nice and personable. When you were modding ASC, what was your overall goal? What did you really want to do to make sure that it was a good experience for everyone?
Well, the thing was that I think Aqua wanted to like do something similar to Loon's server back in was it Kurata,
Mhm.
the Hello Happy World Summer event from last year. Um and that tiering server also had like a lot of fun activities that Loon had set up, and Aqua just ultimately wanted to follow that and do the same thing. So his event was, memorable for him and then like all the other server members as well. But like, I think, yeah, he the event before he actually tiered T10 railgun, which is, that was a very, very hectic T10. And then he was just, very like, tired, couldn't like think well and everything. So he was about to ditch the idea of the server events actually, but I tried to like, I wanted him to like, chill and be happy vibe. So I decided to like help him with it, and I ultimately push this stuff out as the best as I can do with my abilities.
Yeah. It's really good to hear again, Who, that you're able to do that. Many people listening to this podcast, maybe they were an ASC. I think they would definitely appreciated the activities and all the things you did for the server to make sure that again it was a memorable experience. Of course, not only for Aqua, who's T1, but also for the members as well.
Yeah, tiering servers like don't hold them as like super high and mighty. Like it's very exclusive to like the whole community of Bang Dream. Just it's more of like, as long as you try and interact with more people, you just know more people, then we're always happy to help people out, achieve their goals.
Exactly. I do agree with that. It is very different. It's a different perspective of how you approach your love and passion for Bang Dream. Obviously, everyone has different ways of showing that support, whether it's through attending live concerts, buying merchandise, whaling in the game, or in this case, tiering. Right? There's a lot of different ways you could show support. So again, overall, it was a pretty memorable experience overall with ASC, and of course thanks to your help. Of course it was memorable in other ways as well, but it was overall a really fun experience, or an enjoyable experience. Yeah. So Who, this is basically all I have for today. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. It was great to learn more about your abilities and being able to all perfect songs, but also just kind of get an idea of what the community is like with your perspective, especially with you as a moderator for many different servers. It was really it was quite inspiring and also uplifting to hear about all these experiences you have.
Yeah, no problem. I'm always happy to talk about my experience and help inspire, like, I guess, quote unquote, a new generation of like players, I guess.
For sure.
Always good to see new faces around here.
Never too late to join Bandori, even though we might be approaching, what is it, the 4th year anniversary soon? We're in the 3rd already, but it's never too late to join Bandori and be able to learn more about it. Any other last shout outs you want to give to the people?
I think I'm pretty good actually.
All right. Well, again, you could always contact Who. Twitter's on the video. Her Twitter handle's on the video, and of course, feel free to join the UNGA Academy if you want to learn more about getting to know our special guests, and of course, resources that we talked about today in this podcast will be in the description below. But again, thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. This is your host SB Philos4 here, and the set has been complete, and we hope to see you all in the next time we refill. So until then, take care everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.